Hi, welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. For all you cat lovers, this is going to be a great episode this week because that's all that we're going to be showcasing today is just some of our adoptable cats. Fortunately for us and the dogs, pretty much all of our dogs are being adopted with the exception of one or two that just haven't found that right home yet. So Tammy and I are going to be hanging out with some of our feline friends today. First up, we have Blanky, and he's about 3 years old. He is a cat that was previously owned. The owner didn't tell us why they were surrendering him to us, but they say that he's friendly, he's calm, he's able to handle. What we've learned about him here in the shelter is that he likes to escape from his cage. He has a nice little sign warning all the visitors to be mindful that he might jump out and go on a little walkabout around the cat adoption floor. But he was very friendly. This is actually my first interaction with him because he just went on the adoption floor on right before we filmed, the day before we filmed this show. So he is relatively new. He'd been in the back for a while and now he's out there on the floor, and I picked him up. He was pretty okay with that. He didn't really struggle too much, just looking around, seeing what was going on around him. Put him on Tammy's lap. He still wants to clearly get down and explore, but he's not really seems to be, not necessarily afraid of anything. He's just curious. He's a big cat. He weighs about 14 plus pounds. So if you're looking for a big kind of cuddly guy to hang around your house, he might be a great fit for you. All of our cats are adopted for a fee of $97.50, so that covers all of the medical care that he's received while he was here if he needed to be spayed or neutered in his case. That's covered as well, vaccines, preventatives, microchipping, so you get a lot for your buck when you adopt here from Animal Control. If you're interested in Blanky, you can visit him here 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Right now we have 3 cats that came in with wounds of unknown origin on our adoption floor. And one of those 3 is Lionel. And when animals come in, we've talked about this before with General Lee, come in with wounds of unknown origin. We don't know if they've been bitten by a rabid animal. Rabies is a fatal illness, so we have to take serious precautions to make sure that we don't spread that fatal illness. So Lionel, along with General Lee and Carl, have spent time in a foster home for 4 months. They were in a double enclosure, which means they're in a room within another room, usually like a bathroom or something like that, and they only have one caretaker. We are fortunate that we have foster parents that are willing to take on that responsibility, so that really super sweet and loving, affectionate animals like Lionel can do what they need to do and be certified as now a safe, healthy animal that can go on our adoption floor and find a nice, loving family. Lionel is estimated to be about 2 to 3 years old. He is a cream tabby. He came to us as a stray. We had a witness statement that said that he had been attacked by another neighborhood cat, and that's where his wounds came from. So he was treated for that, finished his 4-month quarantine that he began back in April, and now he's finally back on the adoption floor looking for someone to call his own. As you can see, he's an incredibly affectionate cat. He's purring, he's kneading, he's showing Tammy where he wants to be rubbed and scratched, and he's color-coded orange, which means that he is just an individually average cat. So he likes what he likes, and when he doesn't want those things, he doesn't want them. But he comes right to the front of his cage for attention. He's not necessarily needy. He kind of just chills in his bed, and when he sees somebody stop, he comes up and greets them. So he's not that cat that constantly needs your attention, but really enjoys it when you're willing to provide it to him. He's a little bit nervous walking around and things like that, being held, but as you can see, he's a total lap cat, and hopefully he'll find a family where this is all they want to do with him. If you're interested in Lionel, his adoption fee, as with all the cats, will be $97.50, and you can call for more information, 301-600-1546. This is Seeger, and Seeger is the last of his litter. There were 4 cats in the litter. They were all named after, musicians, and this is, obviously Seeger. They were all fraidy cats. So we have a program for cats like Seeger who are a little bit more nervous, fearful, even though he did really well in his foster home, because he was underage when he went into his foster home. When he came back to the shelter, it's very scary. So an additional set of volunteers who are very cat savvy and kind of understand being patient and working with these guys has spent a lot of time with the entire litter. And so Seeger has now gone from being a little hissy spitty guy in the shelter to being a cat that you pick him up and you can cuddle him and he purrs. Now, that being said, he's still a little bit shy here. That could just be environmental. From the information we have from his foster family, he was introduced to both cats and dogs, in that he's a watcher. He's calm and snuggly. He loves lap time. He likes to be in the cat tree and looking out the windows. He likes wand toys, ping pong balls. He loves climbing. So it seems like in a home environment where it's a little bit calmer, he's just your typical kitten. But here in the shelter, he definitely was very fearful. And so he's learning to accept love in this environment and be okay with it. So hopefully he'll have a smooth transition to a loving forever family. He's about 4 months old, so he's still, his personality is still developing. It's just one of those things where you want to be prepared for he might be a little reluctant, a little stressed, and want to hide places when you get him into your home. Don't expect him to just want to be on your lap all the time right away. If he does that, that's great, but it might take him a little bit of time to work up to that. I know even here in the shelter, sometimes he gets startled and he freaks out a little bit, even when he's with one of those volunteers he's very familiar with. If you have the patience to adopt one of our fraidy cats, then you can stop in and visit with them here at the shelter. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is Mike, and in the last couple of days I've seen Mike taking to some volunteer laps. So he's another guy that if you're looking for a nice snuggly lap cat, he might be a great fit for you. He's also an experienced lap cat because he's about 6 to 8 years old. So he's past all of that kitten stage where they're, running up and down the steps all night and, they are so needy and want your attention all the time. He's used to being a cat. And so he's going to be a little bit more comfortable being at home by himself while you're at work. His energy level, while some older cats still have, a pretty high level of energy, it's not going to be that same thing as if he were a kitten. And because he is a little bit older, that this is how he is. He's a lap cat, and that's how he'll be for the rest of his life. Whereas kittens might be cuddly at first, and then they decide, this isn't really my favorite thing. I'd rather run around and play and be a little bit more independent. Mike did come in with another cat named Carol, who we named Carol, as strays. Carol has since been adopted, so Mike is used to being with another cat. So if you have an existing cat in your home with a proper introduction, he would, probably really thrive in that kind of an environment. He also came in with some thinning fur and some flea dirt. So he, was out as a stray for a time, and so we treated him for those fleas. He also had some ear mites. So anybody who's adopting him, we've treated him for those things, but he's just going to need some continual preventative things every 3 months to make sure that those things stay away and that he has, a good clean bill of health. He is a beautiful tuxedo cat. He has that nice silky black fur. I picked him up. He was great with that. He comes right to the front of his cage and greets people now. He was actually listed as shy, but he seems to have quickly moved out of that phase and is ready for people to provide him with lots of TLC. If you are looking for a handsome senior to add to your family, you can do that by visiting Mike here. Because he is a senior, he would go home for a $20 reduction in his adoption fee, making him adoptable for a fee of $77.50. This is Carl. As I mentioned earlier in the show, he is one of our 3 wounds of unknown origin cats that are now on our adoption floor. They all had to spend 4 months in a quarantine situation where They had kind of a double door enclosure, and then they only had one handler to prevent the spread of rabies if they had in fact been bitten by a rabid animal, since we were unable to figure out what had happened and created those wounds. Carl has been back, came in back in April, and he's been back on the adoption floor, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We quickly found that he didn't really enjoy being on the adoption floor. He's used to being in a much quieter environment, and it was really overstimulating for him, and he didn't like that. He didn't have anywhere to go if he felt scared. He couldn't run away. He was kind of stuck in his cage. So what we did was we actually moved him into the kitty cabana, which replicates more of a home-like environment, and he's really thriving in that space. So he lives in the second cabana with Lily and Mo, and he's right now in our transition cage, still kind of getting acclimated to living with them. Although he has lived with another cat previously, he actually came to the shelter with one of our staff favorite cats, who since found a new home named Dog. Yes, he was a cat named Dog. So Carl has lived with other animals before. He really likes to be petted. He loves attention. He's that cat that just kind of melts over and wants you to rub all over him, and he purrs and he needs, and he's a really sweet guy. However, he doesn't really like to be picked up for extended period of time and carried around. He's quick with he's good with a quick cuddle, and then he wants to get down. According to his foster mom, who spent 4 months with him, so she knows him pretty well. He likes catnip. He likes cat treats. He likes to play catch. He loves all kinds of toys. He wants to be with you and is very interested in what people are doing. He wants to be petted a lot. He's quiet and runs around the room, so he gets a lot of zoomies. He's just a great companion as long as you don't pick him up and hold him and force him to be kind of cuddled in a way that he doesn't like. She says that he's a very loving cat, should be fine with any type of a home environment. And the great thing about his particular foster, who is also a foster for General Lee, she did leave her contact information. So if you wanted to learn more about what these guys were like firsthand, you could call her, email her, and kind of get some more info on the personalities of the cats that she's been fostering. But he's going to be a great addition. He is color-coded purple here just because he can be a little bit shy and timid and things like that. We want people to work up to that, and because he really doesn't like that restraint. So he kind of, that's not his jam, and we want to make sure that he's going to a home that's cat savvy and really understands that these are the things that he doesn't like. If you wanted to visit with him, you could do that here. We are, again, open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. So that was just the start. After the break, we're going to introduce you to even more adoptable cats. We hope that while watching, you'll find somebody that you'll want to make part of your family.
Many volunteer opportunities are available on Frederick County boards and commissions, whether the Commission on Aging, Human Relations Commission, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Workforce Development Board, or many others. Those desiring to serve must be residents and registered voters of Frederick County. For more information, contact Joyce Grissnickel at 301-600-1102 or by email at fcgboards@frederickcountymd.gov.
The Frederick Green Homes Challenge is now online. Visit frederickgreenchallenge.org to sign up for a free account and start saving energy, saving money, and reducing your environmental impact. Learn about actions you can take from small to big, like upgrading your light bulbs, using water-saving devices, or installing a renewable energy system. Add actions to your to-do list. Earn points for completing actions and track your savings, all online. You can even post your story and learn from the experience of others. To get started, visit frederickgreenchallenge.org and click Take the Challenge.
Welcome back. This is Oscar, and Oscar is one of our longtime residents. He's been with us since April as well. He is also one of our Kitty Cabana residents. He lives in Cabana 1 with Spotty, Callie, and Emmy, and they all get along pretty well. I actually pulled him to bring him to the show. He was sitting in the cat tree with Emmy. They don't necessarily cuddle up and play together, but they coexist quite peacefully. So if you are looking to add a cat to your home and you have existing cats, then Oscar would kind of fit right into that, just remembering always to do a proper introduction. Oscar is also one of our seniors. He's about 7 years old, and I honestly can't figure out why no one's wanted to make Oscar part of their house yet. He is super relaxed. He likes to play. He likes attention. I can pick him up and carry him everywhere. I actually took him to a facility and I carried him around the entire time, and he was fine with it. We were there for 20 minutes or so, and he was basically being carried the entire time. He got passed around to some people and he was cool with it. So he's very tolerant. When he's unhappy with something, like being brushed, for example, he needs to be brushed because he has some loose fur that still needs to come in. He's shedding and it doesn't want to quite come out. And he doesn't really enjoy brushing, so he tolerates it for a little bit, and then he just kind of turns your head and gives you this deep old man meow that says, okay, I'm done, no more of this. So he's really good at giving you cues. So even if you have young children in the home, as long as you teach those children that cue, then he shouldn't have any issues interacting with those kids. He did come in because the previous owner said that he was peeing in the house. And we get that a lot, but we also get cats that are doing it because they're sick, which is what Oscar's situation was. He came to us with a urinary tract infection. We have treated that urinary tract infection, and he's been back to using his litter box ever since. And he does live in the Kitty Cabana, which is a free roam environment. So if he wanted to choose to go somewhere else, he could definitely do that. It's not like he's confined in a space where he really only has his bed and his litter box. He has a lot of other areas where he can hang out, which proves to me that it was mostly a medical issue. And now that we've resolved that, he should be fine in any type of a home environment. Because Oscar is a senior, he would go home for that reduced adoption rate, which would be $77.50. And then Robeson Orthodontics has sponsored him, so they're going to pay a portion of that adoption fee for whoever is looking to make Oscar part of their family. This is another one of our Cabana residents. This is Spotty, and Spotty is 9 years old, and he came in with Callie, who I affectionately call Fat Callie, because she's known for being more bowling ball shaped than anything else, but she's lovely. And Spotty is lovely too, because he learned that from his mom, who, according to the paperwork we were given, is Callie. So they've always lived together. And they live together currently in the Kitty Cabana. They also came in with 2 Chihuahuas who have long since been adopted. And they came to us not through any fault of their own. It wasn't any bad behavior or anything like that. Their owner passed away. And so the family of that person was unable to take in these 4 animals. So they brought them to us so that we could find them a loving home. So Callie and Spotty have just been hanging out in the cabana until they find that right person. It can be a little bit difficult for older cats to find loving homes. I personally love older cats. They have a lot of benefits. Spotty, for example, is very chill. He's very relaxed. He has been known to play from time to time, but he mostly is just pretty quiet, wants to sit and look out the window and sit up high and observe what's going on. Sometimes he comes down and hangs out with his mom, Callie, and she promptly lets him know that he's not been grooming himself up to her standards, and she gives him a quick bath. So if you're looking to add 2 cats to your household and you like the idea of 2 senior pets, they would be a great pair. He's a little bit shyer, so it takes him a little bit of time to warm up, whereas Callie's definitely very outgoing. So they have a good balance of personalities there. Spotty also has a cyber foster. So in that program, somebody interacts with him on a regular basis so that they can find out new information about him and get him used to having somebody who's consistent in his life. Because sometimes they reveal more about their personalities, and then that person posts about him on their social media to hopefully spread the word about him and find him a nice adoptive family. If you are interested in Spotty, you can visit him here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Just remember, he's back in our cat room, cabana number 1. As we mentioned earlier, Callie is our little butterball, and she is now here for everyone to meet. She's 10 years old. She is allegedly Spotty's mom, and she lives in the kitty cabana with Spotty and Emmy and Oscar, and she's been with us since the beginning of March when her owner passed away. Everyone here pretty much loves Callie. Nobody has any bad things to say about Callie. She has the cutest little face. She's just a little smush, and she loves attention. She's usually one of the first cats to greet you when you walk into the kitty cabana. She loves to be petted. She purrs so quickly when she's around people, and she loves to be brushed. And she likes to sit in this particular cat tree, and she doesn't really like to come down. And because she's a little overweight, it can be hard to pick her up and can be uncomfortable for her. So she loves her brush so much that I just brushed her a little bit and then walked to the other side of the room, and she came right down, and I was able to put her in the carrier and bring her out here. So now Tammy's brushing her so that she kind of gets her reward. She's a little unique, and unlike most cats, she really loves to have her face brushed. She loves the side of her cheeks. She's happy with wherever you want to brush her, but she really will ask for that to be brushed on the side of her face and kind of lean into that. She has been on a diet. When she came in, she was 17 pounds, 13 ounces. And for her frame, that's really overweight. And we have been putting her on a diet and trying to encourage her to move around in the kitty cabana. And we've had a lot of success with her. And I just checked her most recent vet notes from September 3rd, and she was down to 13 pounds, 8 ounces. So she is doing really, really well. And, we're all just so happy that she's getting down to that healthy weight so that she can be around for a lot longer. She does have a little bit of arthritis, but you can definitely see that she's becoming more mobile. When she first went into the kitty cabana, she couldn't get up into this particular cat tree that she really enjoys. And now she can make it all the way to the top and to some of the other cat trees. So she's going to continue to make great progress. She just needs an owner that's committed to her weight loss program. Because she's 10 years old, she can be adopted for a fee of $57.50. This is Grantham, and he's about 1 to 2 years old. He came to us as a stray. He is a very handsome guy. He's very affectionate, very loving, quick to purr, likes attention. But when he first came in, that wasn't really the case. He was one of our wild box cats. We've talked about wild boxes before. They are a special box that we can put into cages with our cats. They have obviously holes in them, and then they have a little door that goes in the front and can be removed. So when cats are really scared or sometimes feral, they can go in there and we can encourage them into the box. They can hide in the box, but if we need to clean and to make sure it's safe for us, we can kind of close them in there like you would a cat carrier, and then clean and then put them back in their cage safely. And this guy started out in one of those boxes. He arrived on the 10th, and by the 16th, our staff had gone ahead and removed that wild box and noticed right away that you could pick him up. He didn't care. A little shy at first, but then when he realizes he's going to get some TLC from you, he comes up. He wants you to pet him. So he's definitely one of those cats that just needs a little bit of time in a new situation to show how truly amazing he is. And he came to us as a stray, so we don't know how difficult his life had been before he got here. So it is a scary, stressful environment. So just remembering that when you're taking even cats home from here, even though your home might seem like a less stressful environment, this is their home. This is where they're with people they're familiar with. So sometimes it can take a little bit longer for them to settle in. I've noticed, he's been on the adoption floor just a few days, and he's coming right to the front asking for attention. So he's hopefully going to be a great pet. One of the staff even mentioned he's definitely one of those lap cat kind of guys, so he has a lot of great things going for him. When you visit with him first, you might notice that he's a little stinky. He has stinky boy smell, so he's got that tomcat odor. He will be neutered before he goes home, so he'll be nice and fresh and ready for a new start with a new family. Our last guests today are a pair of sisters. These guys are both 2 years old. They came in together, and their names are Puddin, who is here with me, the tortie in white, and then the orange tabby over there with Tammy is Pumpkin. And as you can see, they are some of our shy fraidy cats. They're just color-coded yellow. They're not color-coded purple, but they are definitely on the shyer side and aren't particularly thrilled to make their on-screen debuts today. They prefer, hanging out in their safe zone in their cages where there aren't loud noises like doors opening and closing and kids crying in the lobby and stuff like that. So don't necessarily judge them by their behavior here because they are in a new environment and it is a little scary for them. And the shelter is really stressful. They need someone who is willing to be patient with them and love them and just, teach them that people aren't scary and that they're going to be there and provide you with love and comfort and playtime and all those great things. They just haven't quite figured out that here in this scary environment. So, they're 2 years old, so they still have a lot of time to learn, but it is possible that they could be those cats that when people come over, they think that you're lying and that you don't actually have cats because they're always hiding, and that's okay. If that's how they are. I've had cats like that before. I just need them to be there to provide me with comfort and me to provide comfort to them. If they don't want to hang out with my guests, then that's totally up to them. They do like attention, and they have been doing a lot better, but it's just going to be a work in progress with them. They would do great together because they would keep each other company and make each other feel safe. They're some of the cats that you can, frequently find hiding underneath a rug and things like that because they want a little bit of privacy. They want to feel safe. So if you have the patience and you're pretty cat savvy, then these might be a great pair of new furry family members for you. If you were to adopt them together, or any two cats together, you get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee. We hope that you enjoyed meeting some of the many cats that we have on our adoption floor. Cats make up 60% of our population and are often our longest residents. So if you're in the market for a new feline, definitely come down to 1832 Rosemont Avenue and check out what we have and see if there's the perfect match for you. We hope that you'll tune in again next week where we'll introduce you to more of FCAC's adoptable pets.
The Frederick County Sheriff's Office now offers fingerprinting services 3 days per week, from Tuesday through Thursday. Our goal is to make it more convenient for citizens to have fingerprints taken for employment, licenses, permits, and other important issues like adoption and child care services. The Sheriff's Office will continue to accept credit and debit cards, checks, and money orders as payment for fingerprint fees. Cash is not accepted. For more information, contact the Fingerprint Information Line at 301-600-4058.
Are you looking for that perfect spot for your child's next birthday party? Look no farther. Frederick County Parks and Recreation can fulfill all your birthday party needs. Choose from any of our rec center locations. Your party rental includes tables, chairs, on-site facility supervisor, and much more. Pricing for our parties is $120 for 2 hours in our rec room or $170 for 2 hours in our rec room and gymnasium. For more information and availability, visit us on the web at www.recreator.com.